Oh, damn it.
Okay, I really want to talk about this last thing, so let's talk about this last thing.
Let's do it.
The Green Knight came out a couple of weeks ago, and it came out to streaming services last Thursday. We all finally got to watch it. I want Derek to, I think, to start, because I think it's a good dichotomy going from him just ranting about how much he hated something to, guys, spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure he loved it.
I haven't let on how I felt about it.
You're right, you haven't. I loved it. I'll just off the cuff. I thought it was really good. I haven't sat down.
Way to kill the suspense, Chris.
I'm sorry. There's no suspense with me. I'm the eternal optimist. Now, you, on the other hand, I have no idea.
That's the true mystery. Yeah, I have my theories. I have my theories.
Scooth is the true mystery, as he often is.
Yes.
Both the Raven. All right. The Green Knight. Plat, plat, plat. Dev Patel stars in this adaptation of the Arthurian legend of old, based on the chivalric romance, prose style, whatever. I know way too much about it because I watched a bunch of YouTube videos after the movie was over. Derek, how did you feel about the Green Knight?
I'm going to try to not ramble for 45 minutes because I can't talk about this movie for that long. I'm going to say one thing first. I feel like this movie was misrepresented in its trailer. I feel like
I would agree with that.
The trailer made it seem like a much more modern type fantasy epic type thing, and it was a much more in a classic style. I don't know if you guys watched like the Excalibur movie that was made in like the 80s, or if you just like the old any of the old Arthurian movies when you were kids or anything, but it was much more akin to those than it was to like
A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale. That being said, I thought it was awesome. I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that it was at first I was like, is this going to be a boring slow burn movie? It was slow burn. But I actually really liked it. I actually stayed up all fucking night reading about it because I was so entranced by it. First of all, let me just say this. This is the first thing that has to be said about this movie. This movie is an actual masterpiece of cinematography. They're going to be talking about this movie like 50 years from now in film studies classes. You could have like a bot that just randomly selects any frame from the movie at any point, and whatever you get would look like a poster for the movie. Every single shot is so calculated and beautiful and vibrant and like wide lens, like tracking shots. Dude, it was fucking phenomenal cinematography. That being said, in the it's interesting that this is a story written in the 1300s about the 600s. So basically those stories aren't really, and the lessons in them aren't really meant to make a whole lot of sense to us in today. And so at the risk of sounding super fucking corny, it's kind of like looking into the past and seeing like kind of what values people in this case, the 1300s, would read in their stories and go, oh yeah, that's a quality that I want to see in a hero, or something I don't want to see in a villain. I think that the theme of this movie was chivalry, and how, again, spoiler alert coming, and how Garwin, which threw me off that's how that was pronounced, did not achieve it. And how ultimately the ironic thing was him accepting that he was not chivalrous was the most chivalrous thing that he did. His vision in the end of him running away from the Green Knight and having a kid and basically being a shitty fucking king and a shitty dad and a shitty everything to everyone. And then it just flashed back to him saying, oh, actually, and he takes off the invincibility sash and he says, now I'm ready. We can assume that he got murked since the Green Knight said off with your head then. I thought that was a very, very atypical way to end the movie. It was also interesting that the protagonist, which, you know, we often conflate with the term good guy, was not the good guy. He was kind of a piece of shit. Every test that he had on his way to the end of his quest, he failed. Showed that he was not.
God damn it.
Well, that's all. Well, that's all I'll say on it. But the other interesting aspect of it is that the Green Knight, who's the antagonist, is actually not necessarily the good guy, but he's like the teacher. He's the wise one. So I thought that was cool. That the guy that is sort of, usually the person you have in that place is someone who wants to tear things down. It actually seems like he's teaching a lesson about how to be brave and how to be chivalrous. I just thought that this movie really kind of flipped things around on its head. I thought that it was beautiful. I thought that the score was weird. I would have done some things a little different, but it was just different enough that it did kind of drag me along. And again, I'll just keep rambling, so I'll just stop there. Those are kind of my first thoughts. I just thought that it was done in such an unexpected way, and roles were sort of like maintained in the way they should be, but also done in completely new ways, in a way I've never seen in a film before. I see why this movie got like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and then once the audience score came out, I see why it dropped down to 55% or whatever it sits at now, because it was misrepresented in its trailers for sure. And the classical telling of fantasy stories doesn't jive with modern day fantasy storytelling. But that to me was a bold artistic move to say, well, no, I'm going to modernize it as much as I can while still keeping the tone of stories that were written in that era. I thought it was like a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was excellent.
Word. I will save my my thoughts for. God, how'd you feel about The Green Knight?
I have mixed feelings about it, to be honest. I thought like I can't agree with you more about the cinematography. There's so many shots of that movie that I just can close my eyes and see perfectly right now. Like I must have rewound certain parts of it like 3 or 4 times just to watch. Like
me too, yeah.
The scene sort of early on, about maybe 45 minutes in the movie, where he's accosted by bandits and he's left tied up, and they do this long pan out shot.
Oh, that 360 pan.
Yeah. And they start by zooming in on a skeleton tied up exactly where he was, the same position, everything. And for a second there, I'm like, what? Like it gets you for a second, like, what? Is he like hallucinating? Is he like seeing a vision of what his future might be? And then it slowly pans around back and you see that he's staring at this other body of the last person they left there. That was incredible.
Yeah.
The shot where he goes outside with the spirit to fetch her head from the pond, and the whole time, dude, like the trees are like 30 foot branches are looming out. It just looks gorgeous. Like the way everything was done, man. Like I know it's not a complex shot, but just like it was beautiful, and it's one of my favorite in the movie. It does get a little weird, right? Like you said, he fails every test that's thrown at him. Which I think to some degree, yes. Like, he's shown himself not to be chivalrous many times throughout the movie. But also, like, There's that weird, like, couple.
Go ahead, say it.
There's that weird, like, like, androgynous couple. Well, not androgynous, but, like, they seem like they might be swingers. They might be in an open thing here.
Yeah.
What's he get, Scott?
I mean, it looks like he's going to be the little verse bottom in their thruffle. You know what I mean? Like, it's, It seemed, he gets what appears to be the saddest hand job I've ever seen. I don't know, but it doesn't make much sense, right? Because he's at home just absolutely slaying. And then the second a lady in a fancy dress touches his dick, he ejacks. What the fuck's going on?
I thought there was entrance there. Was there not entrance?
I
thought he was in.
I mean, if there's
that coming.
If there's entrance, it was the most uncomfortable, rigid sex I've ever seen on film. But it's hard to tell because, again, 1300s, right? Like, in the 1300s, we only went up and down.
It just goes to show you the secret to living forever is to come on your belt and put it on. That's the.
All right, I have to tell you one part in the end, in his vision of when he's king, when whoever it was, like he's about to fuck, and they go to grab to take the sash off. Fucking Ron goes, "The cum sash stays on."
I love
the super serious part of the movie. I was like crying, laughing. The cum sash stays on.
I loved the scene. I loved everything about his vision, to be honest. I thought like that, like I knew that wasn't the end. You know what I mean? But I feel like I loved everything about it. Like I loved him, like visual, like him just going through and questioning who am I if I failed everything along the way here. Who am I if I live alive for the rest of my life? You know, like how is that gonna snowball? You know, like what kind of avalanche is that gonna start? And I thought it was really cool that in the end of his vision, he takes the sash off and his head just falls off. So as if to say, like, as if to say you were dead the moment you've been dead the whole time. Yeah.
I thought that was great.
But also, I don't think knowing, like, I went and read up on the original like Arthurian tale. Is that what you would call it?
Yeah.
And at the end of the original story, apparently, because he is brave, in the end, the Green Knight strikes him on the neck, but very lightly, and he lives in the original tale. But after watching this, I kind of hope he fucking died, though, right? He was just...
I feel like it's the most, like... I feel like that would be the most poetically satisfying thing, because the fox even says to him, any man would rather live in shame than die by the Green Knight's hand, or whatever it is he says. And then he has the vision of him living in shame. Yeah. And you're just like, even as a viewer, you feel dirty. You're like, fuck this guy, dude. And like the time
leaving the money on the bed was the fucking worst part. Like taking
God,
taking the
placenta.
Son.
Yeah, that was the fucking worst, dude. Well, and like exactly. And so in that moment where he says, hang on, and he takes the sash off. And he goes, now I'm ready, is the most sure and brave he looks throughout the whole thing. So to like accept his death rather than live in shame was just like, I thought that was fucking awesome. So if he just like lived in the end, that would suck. I'm just kidding with you. Get out of here, you little scamp. Get home.
Hey, goof.
So it's funny how people interpret the ending differently. And I remember watching a video on it afterwards. I'm glad. The one thing I'm very happy about is this movie had all three of us go out and look this original tale up afterwards and dive into it a little bit. And it's funny how I remember watching this one video that was going through the original tale versus the movie and all this stuff. And they were like, oh, and the ending is open-ended. And to me, I was like, what are you talking about? Because as the eternal optimist, the ending was very clear to me. And now I see that it's very not clear to everyone because you guys had different interpretations. I saw there were basically like three. They were like, oh, well, I don't know, whatever. But one of them was that he got murked at the end. I thought he didn't. Mm-hmm. I thought he got the Derek Hates It ending. I thought it was he saw the man he was going to be. In that moment, he became the man the whole reason he was on the journey to become a chivalrous, a noble, a good person. Yeah. He failed at all those tasks. He became better. And he saw that, and because he took the sash off and he had that realization it was going to die, the Green Knight, the off with the head thing felt like a joke to me, like a nudge. And I know you're like, the way you put it right just then, where you're like, get out of here, you little scamp. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that is kind of silly. But that's how I took it the first time I watched it. I was like, oh, so he passed the test, which was just accept your fate like a fucking man because this is what you signed up for. So take it. You know what I mean? And then he was going to do it. Fucking Scott. And then he was going to do it. And he was like, you know what? You've learned the lesson that I wanted to teach you, and therefore, you're done.
But the whole point is a chivalrous man wouldn't have taken a shot at someone who wasn't defending himself. So, like, from the set, he proved himself to be a bad person by taking a free shot, and like a chivalrous man would have taken his blade and maybe lightly scratched the cheek to play the game.
Yeah,
but he was so desperate to prove himself as this, like to prove that he was as big and brave as all the other knights around him, that he stepped up and did something that was really just. By standards then or now, it's just morally unjust.
I broke the rubber band to hurt.
And speaking of the him wanting to prove himself, I thought the fucking scene parallel between the beginning and the end, when he collapses drunk in the whorehouse and it gets real close and he just goes, I'm not ready. Like it's clear he's talking about, I'm not ready to like be a man or be a knight or be on the round table or whatever it is. And then of course the last words he says in the movie are, I'm ready. So I just thought that was a fucking awesome way to just like tie the entire thing together. Dude, I won't lie. Like there were some scenes that I was like, all right, first of all, not having subtitles. Holy shit. Everybody's accent is so heavy and the dialogue is so
I had
low.
To put subtitles on, bro. I had to.
Mine weren't working. So we had the TV all the way up. Like it was ridiculous.
I did it without subtitles.
But there were some scenes I was like, oh, all right, let's get to the next fucking scene, man. Like it definitely dragged at parts. But the last, I really can't think of anything else we haven't covered here. But the last thing I'll say is is everything okay? The last thing I'll say is the scene with the giants where they were singing was one of the most like weird, hauntingly beautiful scenes I've ever seen. It was fucking awesome.
It was a weird thing. No, I wasn't done yet. Thanks, both of you fuckfaces.
Oh, sorry.
Well, no, I 100% agreed with Scott when he was not chivalrous in the beginning, but to me, it was almost like, and this is why I thought this. His mother is the person who summoned the Green Knight. In my opinion, she was going, my son is a dickhead. He's not a knight. He's not ready to be king. This is his test. This is what's going to make him into that man. So I did have the optimistic ending where he was now the man he was supposed to be, having failed all those tests for nobility, generosity, friendship, or whatever all the tests of a knight are in those days. And then he was, basically free to fucking go.
I feel like there's got to be some contention on that, though, because I feel like when the bandits thing, like, he literally doubled back and gave the kid a coin. And you can make the argument that the kid, because he initially said his thanks was enough, that he was being condescending to someone who tried to help him, but it was a trap all along, right? So like that to me isn't so much a failed test as is like he's a bad judge of character, maybe, which you could say maybe is a failure. The ghost, whose name I cannot remember, I will never remember. I'm sorry.
Winifred.
Winifred. When he first is about to dive in to get her head, he asks her what she's going to give him for it. And
why would you ever ask me that? Yeah, that was
failure.
So good.
Yeah. And then ultimately he ends up just doing it for funsies, right? Just hope I don't fall in. To me that seemed like somewhat of a redemption. Like he misstepped, realized it when she said that, and then did the right thing. So it seemed to me like he was trying. He was actively, and then like again though, like I wouldn't necessarily blame him for the weird couple that wanted to both wanted to bang him. Right, the guys. It's like that scene from Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Like, feel free to make yourself at home, have a sandwich, fuck my wife. And he's like, did he just say? You know what I mean? Like, it's just
that's gonna be part of the thumbnail. We have to figure that out.
It's just,
oh god.
It's we gotta just gotta get that guy. You just gotta get that guy from fucking White Harold and Kumar and dress him up.
Photoshop him onto
Photoshop. No, but like
that sandwich, fuck my wife.
Yeah, but that it gave me those vibes. Like he's like, I will bring you whatever.
No, it did.
He's like, I will bring you whatever I get out here, but whatever you get in here, you must give me. He's talking about tearing that little bussy up, bro. You better watch out.
Well,
you better be careful.
He was talking about the sash, but yeah, okay. Also tearing that little bussy up.
Wait,
I was really hoping. I knew it wouldn't happen, but when he peeled back and he grabbed his arm like this, I just wanted to be like, I fucked your wife, and then just walk away. I'm like, it doesn't match the tone of the movie at all, but man, it would make me laugh.
In the original story, Gawain is a bisexual man, like legitimately, and like that part with the couple apparently is way more. There's way more going on there than we see in the movie.
I'm gonna have to do some reading later.
What I had read is that he basically on day one he kisses her once, and so the guy demands a kiss. Mm-hmm. On day one, on day two, twice. So same thing. And then on day 3, he kisses her 3 times and she gives him the sash. And so he kisses the guy on the way out, but doesn't give him the sash. And that's basically why he failed his whole task, is that he lied to the guy. He didn't give him, he only kissed him 3 times, 3 little kissies. No cum sash.
No cum. Yeah. No sad hands.
Well, I mean, technically you have to give him a really, really unsatisfying, apparently a very satisfying HJ. Or a real stiff ride, Hence,
I just say like the fact that we're all having these conversations is kind of proof of like the interpretive nature of the movie.
Yeah.
I said a little bit at the beginning. I've really enjoyed it. I didn't expect it to be the kind of slow burn that it was, but I was so ready to just take this movie in with whatever form it came in. I knew Dev Patel, I know, is a great actor.
All right. Yeah. Relax, Todd Howard.
I was ready to plat this fucking movie onto every streaming service that's ever existed. All right. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a beautiful, we were saying the same things at this point, but I probably give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was like you said, I thought this is the kind of movie that they'll be showing to film classes in 10 years and going, this shit right here, this is what you should be aspiring to. Like this, look at these shots. I don't have anything else.
It's definitely not my kind of movie for sure, but
It's not the thing I'm going to put on a rainy Saturday.
Well, the thing is, it literally is what you said though. Like the trailers were misleading. I was expecting it to be a little bit more modernized than it was. But you can't fault it. The cinematography is fantastic. The music was incredible. Like the color palettes in this movie, like every single
the color palettes were so amazing. Oh my god.
Take note, Cowboy Bebop. Here's how you do a wide, beautiful spectrum. Here's how you accentuate with bright colors without making it look like a fucking, I don't know, like a fucking Pittman Broad Street play. It's a really, really obscure reference. I'm sorry, but just picture people who can't afford an actual costume department just wearing their grandmother's dresses to reenact A Streetcar Named Desire. That's all I got for you.